Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about punctuation, which we can think of as marks or points that give reading instructions. In other words, English uses punctuation to tell readers how to understand sentences. To see how this works, let's look at some examples. So most commonly, we see the period, the question mark, and the exclamation point. These marks tell a reader what a sentence wants to do. In other words, they tell a reader how to interpret the sentence that the reader has just read, whether to report a fact, to ask a question, or to express some strong emotion. Because academic writing rarely does the job of expressing emotion, it more commonly works in a cerebral sort of way, analyzing and expressing opinions about thoughts rather than about feelings. We rarely see that exclamation point. On the other hand, we often see in academic writing a semicolon, which works to combine clauses into complicated sentences. And you'll notice that as it does that, it combines the function of the period and of the comma. So this mark, like a period, tells a reader that a sentence is ending, and like a comma, tells a reader to continue and register a change that is about to happen. Other punctuation marks work when a writer wants to interrupt a thought in the middle of a sentence or violently change topics within a sentence. For that first purpose, we use the parentheses, which indicate that the words between them are interruptions in the main point of what a sentence is saying. And for the second purpose, we use the em dash, which is called that because it is the width of a lowercase m. When a reader sees an em dash, the reader gets the impression of a violent change of subject or tone within a sentence. And finally, I want to mention quotation marks, which indicate to a reader that the words between them come from some source other than the writer who is using those marks. Notice that quotation marks always come in pairs. That is to say, when a set of quotation marks starts a set of words, a set of quotation marks should be at the end of the set of words that concludes the words that come from some other source. Without those ending quotation marks, a reader can get very confused about what writing is original and what writing is research. So I strongly suggest when you see quotation marks in your work, make sure that they appear at the beginning and also at the end of a quotation. And these details of punctuation may be familiar to you, but I think it helps us as writers to consider our work with the maximum possible consciousness. I believe that we give our reader the best work by paying attention to every detail that we produce, including those weird little points and marks that we think of as punctuation. For that reason, I'm hoping that this lecture will help you as you keep looking closely at punctuation. As always, thank you with an exclamation point for your time and attention.